Knowing how to perform the exercises correctly is an essential part of effective strength training. But understanding how to deal with the psychological challenges you're gonna face under the bar is the real key to taking your lifting to the next level. So stick around and I'll give you 6 tips for mastering the mental game in the gym. So today we're talking about the mental side of strength training. When you're just starting out, your focus is primarily on the technical aspects of lifting, like understanding how to do the movements correctly. But then it gets heavy and the real psychological battle begins. And if you don't understand how to manage your emotions and quiet the voice inside your head, you're gonna hit a sticking point that can lead to frustration, anxiety, depression, anger, and may even cause you to quit lifting altogether and just give up. So today I'm gonna give you 6 tips to help you get your head right and deal with the most common psychological challenges that every lifter faces at some point in their career. Okay, tip number 1, focus on 1 rep at a time. Don't think about it as a set of 5, for example. Think about it as 5 individual reps. You want each rep in the set to get the same amount of attention. And if you go into the set only worried about getting to the end, to that last grinding rep, you're gonna be neglecting your form on the preceding reps. We want each rep to be as identical as possible so that it's as efficient as possible so that you have energy left over at the end of the set when you're gonna need it. So make sure each rep gets the same amount of attention by focusing on 1 at a time. Tip number 2, focus on 1 cue at a time. Pick the most important thing that you're trying to work on and keep that in mind going into your set. When you're standing there with heavy weight on your back, you don't have the bandwidth to think about 1,000 different things or try and correct 5 or 6 different technique errors all at the same time. You're not gonna get anything done that way. The best way to quiet your mind and narrow your focus is to sort of meditate on 1 idea, 1 concept, 1 cue, and work on that every rep of the set. Now, if you do a rep and you've addressed the problem, you've corrected it, then you can move on to the next thing in the order of importance. If not, just keep your focus on that 1 idea for the whole set. Tip number 3, find your zen between each rep. So the time between reps is actually just as important as the reps themselves. And this is a little bit of an advanced concept. This is something that took me a long time to understand, but you only have so much mental energy and psych, as they call it, to get you through a set. And if you've got that pinned at 11 while you're chalking up before you've even looked at the bar, you're gonna run out of juice when you really need it for that last rep. So instead, your intensity should ebb and flow from 1 rep to the next. You're gonna do a rep which requires a burst of energy and intensity to get back up to the top of a squat. But then when you lock out, that's your opportunity to relax, to retighten, and to refocus and get ready for the next rep. Learning how to get comfortable standing there with weight on your back is a very important skill that you want to start developing early in your training career, right? When you have a set of 450 or 500 to squat for 5 reps, you're going to need as much mental energy and intensity and psych as possible for that last rep. So you need to learn that when you lock out, that's home. That's your safe space. You can stand there all day with weight on your back and not panic. That's a skill that you need to start practicing early so that you're really good at it when you need it later in your career. Tip number 4, adjust your program to trick your brain. So if you have a workout that calls for 5 sets of 5 squats, 5 sets of 5 bench presses, and then a bunch of heavy deadlifts, that is a tall mountain to climb. That's daunting and it's hard to stay motivated with all that work to do. So instead, I like to make a few tweaks to my programs so that I trick myself into trying harder than I otherwise would and can keep my motivation high throughout the workout. And those 2 strategies are top sets and rep ranges. So a top set just means I have 1 heavy set for each exercise and the subsequent sets are gonna be lighter. Maybe I'll take 10, 15, sometimes 20% off the bar and I'll make up my volume by doing extra sets at a lighter weight. But there's 1 heavy set for each lift. And that helps me focus my intensity on just getting through that one hard thing at each workout. I know I only have one hard thing to do, and then I get to take some weight off the bar and things get easier. And that helps me really keep my focus and try harder to get as much as I can out of that hard set. It also reduces some of the anxiety of having to grind through, say, 5 sets of 5 all at the same heavy weight. The second strategy is to use rep ranges. So instead of doing a set of 5, a set of 8, something like that, I'm going to do 3 to 5 or 5 to 8 or 8 to 10. And what this does is set a maximum and a minimum, right? A top end and a bottom end, which means that when I'm feeling good, I have a target to push for at the top end, say 8 reps. But if I'm not feeling great, if I'm tired, if I'm run down, I have a minimum that I can hit and still call it a good workout. As long as I get in and get that minimum, I'm still gonna feel pretty good. I went in, I did my best, it wasn't a waste. But what rep ranges do is, again, eliminate the anxiety around your training. If you are deciding whether or not you had a good workout based on your ability to complete 5 reps, meaning if you get 4, you failed, that's very demotivating. You're gonna have a lot of frustrating days and poor workouts. But if you have a rep range of 3 to 5 and you get 4, hey, look, you didn't get the top end, but you did better than the minimum. So it was a good workout, and maybe next time you'll get all 5. So top sets and rep ranges are really tools for reducing anxiety and taking the pressure off. People can be really hard on themselves, especially when they have a series of bad workouts. And look, everybody has good days and bad days, and you're gonna have a lot more bad days than good days. But if you can use something like rep ranges or top sets to make it more likely that you had at least an okay day, a decent workout, you're gonna be much more likely to continue your training versus stringing together a bunch of workouts you consider to be failures. That's not fun, and you're gonna quit. Okay, tip number 5. Channel your inner masochist. Now that may sound silly, but it's actually a really important concept. The weights aren't getting any lighter. The easy workouts are gone. If you're training productively, you're putting weight on that bar in some kind of regular interval. So it's really important early in your career to start developing this sick, twisted love of heavy weight, right? And you're basically gonna have to fake it till you make it. But if you walk into the gym and you're scared of the weights, you're scared of getting hurt, you're nervous, you're dreading your workout, you're not gonna make it very far. So you have to fake it and sort of develop this alter ego, right? Something inside of you where you just convince yourself that you really like it when it feels heavy. You get under that bar, you walk it out of the rack, and you feel that crushing weight on your back, and you think, okay, that's what you got? This is how it's gonna be, right? Now, obviously, it's gonna feel awkward at first and unnatural to channel this sort of other side of you. But if you keep practicing it over and over, that guy's gonna show up, right? If you have some ritual where you put chalk on your hands and you grab the bar and then something else inside of you takes over, something that really likes it when it's heavy and hard, you're gonna do a lot better for a lot longer. Final tip, number 6, keep things in perspective. We're just lifting weights here. We're not curing cancer. We're not building rockets and sending them to Mars. We're just moving heavy weight, managing our nutrition, trying to get bigger and stronger. Keep things in perspective. Go in, do your best at every workout, and then leave it in the gym. Don't take any of the negative energy back home with you. Try and gauge your progress not by individual workouts, but by looking at trends over time, right? You're gonna have good days and bad days. But if you look over the course of a month or several months, you should see that even though there's peaks and valleys, the trend is generally moving upwards. You're doing better. And recognize that the fact that you even got into the gym and put your hands on a barbell means you're doing better than most people. So keep it all in perspective. And like I said in my book, Radically Simple Strength, don't take this shit so seriously. All right, guys, those are my 6 tips for mastering the mental game of strength training. I hope this was useful. If you're interested in getting your form checked and you want some help with your technique, join me every Friday on YouTube, Form Check Friday. There is a link in the description below to submit your videos on the Horn Strength Reddit page. The submission thread opens every Wednesday and you can post your videos. And then on Friday, I go through and do the form checks. rip people apart, help as much as I can, and then the video goes up Friday night, Saturday morning. So if you want to participate, click the link below. Also, don't forget, I posted a video about my new sort of experimental minimalist training program on this YouTube channel 2 weeks ago. And if you want to download the template, you can watch the video. It's going to pop up somewhere around here. And there's a link in the description to get the template for free so you can follow along. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys very soon.